Okay, welcome back. This is, one more time, this is what we are designing. This is tree view. Can't see it yet. And we are designing a basic vector application because that's the best idea I can come up with that would use commands, binding, notifiers, the notifier property in converters. So let's get going. We are going to create our base classes, our base class folders. And this is a pretty good vector application. I mean, just for 2 days worth of work. It does the basics. So hopefully we can get all the way to finishing the actual vector art program also. So I'm going to create a new blank app universal windows. I'm in Visual Studio 2022, and we're not going to use the new WinUI stuff for the Windows SDK. The problem seemed to be, I originally was going to do this application in WPF and Project Reunion, or the Windows App SDK, but it seemed that there were still people out there were having problems with binding in UWP. And UWP, although it's been basically killed, it's about to go away in the next 5 years, people still have to maintain, work with, and develop for it if they're targeting Windows Store, or maybe their company has to target it. So I'm going to call this the Notifier Tutorial. And I'm going to try to keep these videos down to 15 minutes apiece. I'm not promising anything. Set the defaults. And Microsoft, of course, put it on the other window. Okay, that's fine. I got your number, Microsoft. Okay, it put everything on the other window. Quit it. We are going to add some folders, and then we're going to add our base class. So, commands, right click, add new folder, common. Right click, add new folder. Microsoft has went such a Macintosh kind of way of thinking. In everything in Linux kind of way, so you have to double click on everything again like it's 1980 or something. You can tell that they brought in a lot of people from other operating systems, and it just really sucks. What else do we need? We need controls. So we have 4 C's there. We need the model in the view model folders. The model. I mean, if you want binding, you have to have a model in the view model. Now, way up here, I am going to add a class called Notifier. I want it at the baseline so everyone has access to it. And let's see here. We need to add the component model. We're not going to use any of these other namespaces. Make it public. Property changed. Yes, I want that. Protected. Control void on property change. Property change. We're going to invoke it. This is what's calling it. All of our models, our view model, will inherit from this class. Void on property change. Not changing. to kind of ignore the AI. Doesn't realize how bad it really is. You know, after working with Microsoft's AI for a couple months now, with the new AI and Visual 2022, I'm not worried about Skynet anymore. I'm not worried about computers and robots taking over the world, because it is not very intelligent. None of them. Whether it's the stuff developing on Linux or Macintosh, it doesn't really matter. Google, it's not very scary. It's pretty stupid. Just saying. Not really worried about the world being taken over here. Okay, so let's go ahead and build our base designer. Trying to get it up on my other screen. We will go to our view model and we will create a new class called base view. And this class is going to use generics. Go ahead and make the class public. It will take a generic as part of it. And I will explain this as soon as we implement it. So this is just a nifty way I learned a long time ago in WPF to not have to use a singleton. When we're working with our commands, we will need a pointer to our model view. And if you don't want to use a singleton, you can pass the actual data context into the command parameter. And from there, you can get back around to the view if you need to, or you can get around to the actual model view. So, if that doesn't make any sense, it will, hopefully. Let's jump to add another class. We're going to call this the main page view. And we'll base it on the base view. Main page. Put that in the wrong place, didn't I? Or did I? No, that's where it goes. And we needed to do our constructor, and this will get rid of the error. Main page view. Base view. Okay, that's it, our initial view. Let's create our base item. Also, right now, we'll put it under the model, right click on the model folder, add a new class, call it base item. Turn it into a public notifier. Let me go offline. I don't like having messages. And you got to double click everything, like I said. Okay. I don't like messages popping up while I'm recording. So the first item of our base item will be an observable collection. Since we're working with a tree view, we have got to have a hierarchical collection. And if you want to bind, I'm sure somebody out there will argue with that, but no. We really need to initialize that. Hey, look, you actually guessed something. You just totally done horrible formatting. I guess the IntelliSense would be better if it got things right. But the formatting is so horrendous, and since it doesn't get everything right, it's like you have to correct it and just waste time. So we will use name of instead. You could, on the property, change hardcode children in here or the name of the property. But if you rename the property, now you have to go through everywhere you did that, where you actually hard-coded it. And since we have an array property, you may want to call other properties. Tell them, notify the front end that other properties should also be refreshed. Like, I don't know, calculation or something. And that's why we have the array override on our notifier. When this allows us to tell the front end, the GUI, to call multiple properties versus just the one we're changing. Okay, so we also need a parent item of the same kind. And it throws me out of the property of the that is hilarious. I mean, IntelliSense I think it's just needy now. It's really horrible. Well, I mean, it's really good in some ways. Sometimes it works really well, and then it gets really, really, I guess, arrogant or needy. All right, so select the index we will be using for our list view. When we click on one of our top level items, our list view will actually also bind to its children, so we can delete or add new children, etc. We won't do that part in the tree view. And as a result, will bind to the selected index. I think we also will do that in the tree view, just to give an example. So we'll do it both in the tree view and in the list view down below. Alrighty, let's run once just to make sure everything runs correctly. And it just, nothing. There's nothing there yet. But that's our base item. Let's add our first item here. That's going to be layers. So although all of our base items, all of our models will have a class defined, they'll all be based on our base item. And layers is comical because initially, for a good while, it will have no properties. Everything it has will be supplied by the base item for right now. I did not. We should give this guy a name. We need something to display in the tree view. Sure. You almost got it. Okay, so that's what we'll display in the tree view. Now, before we finish this video, let's jump over to the main page view. It will have our seed item for the layers. So it will have a observable collection of layers. What? Oh, I put in the constructor. Why did I call it layers? Layer. Not layers, layer. Name of layers. So that's what our tree view will start binding to. And in the next video, we are going to put our tree view and our tree view control in there, our layer control in here, and get tree view binding to work. If you got something out of this, like and subscribe. It does help out. Not financially, but it does help out on what tutorials I'm going to do. Like I've said before, I was in the U.S. Army Signal Corps. I entered IT way back in 1988, so I've been around for a pretty good while. I hopefully got some good stuff to share with you. I'm just trying to find out what you want me to share. If you don't hit the like and subscribe button, I don't do any more of that tutorial. I mean, just basically, I don't do any more. See you in the next video.